Hello everyone, welcome to this video lecture of Geotechnical Engineering. This is Sukamal Ghosh, Assistant Professor, Civil Engineering Department, Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management, JS Group. In this particular video, we are going to discuss about Bell's lateral earth pressure theory for cohesive soil. So, in our earlier lectures, we have discussed the Rankine's theory of lateral earth pressure, right? Now, if you recall, the very first lecture related to the Rankine's theory of lateral earth pressure, there we have discussed the assumptions that are made by Rankine in his theory. Now, we have also discussed that the Rankine assumed the soil is cohesionless. It means the Rankine's theory is applicable only to the cohesionless or the phi soil, right? So, the Rankine's theory is not applicable to the cohesive soil. Now, a scientist named Bell further used the Rankine's theory and made a general theory for the cohesive soil to calculate the lateral earth pressure. Okay? Basically, he made this theory which is applicable to the cohesive soil, or you can say the C-phi soil basically. Okay? So, this theory of Bell is known as the Bell's analysis of lateral earth pressure for the cohesive or the C-phi soil. So, let us discuss about the Bell's analysis of lateral earth pressure theory. So, let us start the analysis of cohesive soil as we did for the cohesionless soil. Okay. So, suppose this is the ground level. And here is a soil element below the ground level at a depth of z. Okay. So, suppose this depth is z. Now, in this particular soil element, the vertical stresses, that is sigma v, and the lateral pressures, that is sigma h, is acting. Now, this particular soil element is in static condition, okay, or you can say in stable condition, or you can say it is at equilibrium condition. Okay. Now, if we want to construct any structure above the ground level, means suppose we want to construct a structure here, then what we need to do? Then we need to construct the foundation. Okay. And to construct the foundation, we need to cut the trenches or pit. So, let me consider this is the trench. So, let me write it here. This is the trench. Now, since we cut this trench, this particular soil element is not in equilibrium anymore, because in this portion there is no soil element is present right now as it was present before cutting the trench. Now, since this portion is empty, or you can say since this portion is not filled with soil right now, it is not applying any kind of lateral pressure to this soil element. It means right now this sigma h is 0, and that is why due to cutting this particular trench, this soil element becomes unstable, or you can say it will be at inequilibrium condition. So, again, to make this soil element stable, we need to construct a retaining structure, right? See, this is the same discussion as we did for the cohesionless soil, right? If you recall our lectures on cohesionless soil, in the very first lectures we have discussed in this same way that there is a soil element. Now, if we want to construct a structure above the soil, then we need to cut a trench, because in that trench or pit we will construct the foundation, and once we cut the trench, the soil element becomes unstable, and once this soil element becomes unstable, it will try to fall here in the trench, right? So, as we also discussed in the analysis of cohesionless soil, to make this particular soil element stable, we need to construct a retaining structure, right? So suppose this is a retaining structure, okay. Okay, let me first rub it. So this is the retaining structure. Now, due to construction of this particular retaining structure, this soil element becomes stable again. So till now, whatever we have discussed, it is exactly similar to the analysis of cohesionless soil. Okay. Nowadays, the analysis is bit different to the cohesionless soil. So this is a retaining structure which can move, right? Which can move. Okay. This is not a retaining structure which cannot move. It can move. So it is basically light in weight. So this retaining structure is light in weight. So we can move this particular retaining structure. So now if you recall our lectures on the analysis of cohesionless soil, in that lectures we have discussed, suppose this is the retaining structure which is light in weight. Now this particular retaining structure is suppose retaining the cohesionless soil, okay, means the granular soil. So this is the cohesionless soil, okay. So from this term cohesionless, we may understand this kind of soil is not cohesive. It means the intermolecular attraction of this kind of soil is very low. So let me write it here. So this is the retaining structure, okay. This is the retaining structure. So what I was saying, that the intermolecular attraction of the cohesionless soil is very low, or we can also say that cohesionless soil is not having the self-supporting characteristics, okay. So we may also write that cohesionless soil do not have self-supporting characteristics. Okay. So since the cohesionless soil do not have the self-supporting power, or you can say it has very less intermolecular attraction, when we move this particular retaining structure away from the backfill or away from this cohesionless soil, the soil will try to rest on the retaining structure, okay. So suppose we move this retaining structure in this way, means away from the backfill, right. So if we move the retaining structure away from the backfill, then this soil will try to rest on the retaining structure, okay. So this soil, this cohesionless soil will try to rest on the retaining structure in this way. See, this whole discussion we did for the cohesionless soil. I'm just explaining again so that you can recall it, okay. So as I was discussed, that if we move the retaining structure away from the backfill, so this is the initial position, okay. This was the initial position. of the retaining structure, and after moving the retaining structure away from the backfill, this is the position. So movement of the retaining structure away from backfill. Okay. So you can see in this particular figure that since the cohesionless soil is not having much intermolecular attraction, it is trying to rest on this retaining structure, right? Now, in the same way, if we analyze the cohesive soil, then the situation is bit different. So let me analyze it. So suppose this is the retaining structure. So this is the retaining structure. And this retaining structure is retaining the cohesive soil. So this is the cohesive soil, okay? This is the cohesive soil. Now the cohesive soil is sticky in nature. It means they have the self-supporting power and thus a higher intermolecular attraction. So let me write it here. The cohesive soil has higher intermolecular attraction, and since it is sticky in nature, it has the self-supporting capability. The self-supporting characteristics. Okay. Now since the cohesive soil has self-supporting characteristics, when we move or rotate the sheet pile away from the backfill up to a certain depth, this soil will not try to rest on the retaining structure as we saw for the cohesionless soil. Okay. So suppose we move this retaining structure away from the backfill, okay, in this way. So this is the retaining structure. So this is the position after movement of the retaining structure away from the backfill, okay. So position of the retaining structure after moving it away from backfill, okay. Now when we move the retaining structure away from the backfill up to a certain depth, the cohesive soil will not try to rest on the retaining structure because it has a sticky nature, means it has the higher intermolecular attraction and self-supporting characteristics. So for the case of cohesive soil, the figure is bit like this. So you may observe that up to this height, from here to here, there is no contact between this retaining structure and the cohesive soil, unlike the case of cohesionless backfill, right? See, in the case of cohesionless backfill, in every point there is a contact between the retaining structure and the soil, right? But in the case of cohesive soil, from the top, means from here to here, the contact between the wall of the retaining structure and the soil has broken. Okay. Now just in this point, again the contact between the soil and the wall has established. Now the question is, why this soil is not trying to rest on the wall of the retaining structure? Because as we discussed that cohesive soil has higher intermolecular attraction, okay, up to a certain limit, and that is why up to a certain depth this cohesive soil is not trying to rest on the retaining structure, unlike the case of cohesionless soil. Now you may notice one thing, since the contact between the retaining structure and the soil has broken, in this particular portion there is no pressure exert between the soil and the wall of retaining structure, right? And we know when we move the retaining structure away from the backfill, this is the active stage, right? And this is the passive stage. Okay. So since in the active stage there is no pressure exerted between the soil and the wall of the retaining structure, the active earth pressure is 0, right? Because in this case there is no pressure exerts between the soil and the wall. So we can write here that in this case the active pressure is 0. Okay. Now again, if you consider the case of cohesionless backfill, then when we move the retaining structure away from the backfill, at the top the soil is trying to rest on the retaining structure, and at the bottom here the retaining structure is trying to compact the soil, right? So this retaining structure is trying to compact the soil. Now in the case of this cohesive soil also, the retaining structure is trying to compact the soil, right? So for the case of cohesive soil also, this retaining structure is trying to compact the soil, because in this bottom portion, or you can say in the passive stage, the retaining structure is trying to move towards the backfill, and that is why it is trying to compact the soil. So in this passive stage there is a contact between the soil and the retaining structure, and thus there is some pressure exerts between the soil and the wall of the retaining structure. So though for this analysis of cohesive soil, when we move the retaining structure away from the backfill, the active earth pressure is 0, but not the passive earth pressure is 0, because in the passive stage or at the bottom of the retaining structure there is a contact between the retaining structure and the soil, and that is why there is some pressure exerted between the cohesive soil and the wall of retaining structure, and thus the passive earth pressure is present there. It means there is some value of passive earth pressure presence. Okay. So this is the fundamental difference between the analysis of cohesive soil and the cohesionless soil. Okay. So now let me discuss about the critical height. Okay. Critical height. This term critical height is very important respect to the analysis of cohesive soil, or you can say the analysis of Bell. So as we discussed that when we move the retaining structure away from the backfill, so this is the retaining structure, and if we move this retaining structure away from the cohesive soil backfill, then up to a certain depth the cohesive soil may stand alone. It means up to a certain depth there is no contact established between the cohesive soil and the wall of the retaining structure, right? So you may observe in this particular figure that from the top to this point, means from here to here there is no contact between the soil and the wall of the retaining structure. It means we can say that up to this depth the soil can stand alone without any lateral support. So this particular height is known as the critical height and may denoted by HC. Okay. So let me write the definition. The critical height is the depth up to which the soil can stand alone without any lateral support. Okay, and this critical height can be denoted by the HC. Okay, this concept of HC is very important with respect to this analysis of cohesive soil. Okay, now if you recall our discussion on analysis of cohesionless soil, we have discussed there the state of stress at active stage and the state of stress at passive stage. Okay, so the state of stress of active stage and the state of stress of passive stage of that cohesionless soil and this cohesive soil is similar. Okay, so we don't need to discuss that state of stress at active stage and the state of stress at passive stage elaborately, because both of the soils, means for the cohesive soil and the cohesionless soil, the state of stress for active stage and the state of stress for passive stage is similar. Okay, so let me write it here. The state of stress at active stage, okay, it means at plastic equilibrium, right? This is the same thing that we have discussed for the cohesionless soil. Okay, so if this is the soil element, then the vertical stresses, and these are the lateral pressures, right? And we know in the active stage the lateral pressures are nothing but the active earth pressure. Okay, and if you recall our discussion on cohesionless soil, at active stage the major principal stress is the sigma v. It means the sigma 1 is sigma v for the state of stress at active stage, and the minor principal stress is sigma h, or the active earth pressure, means the sigma 3, which is minor principal stress, is the active earth pressure. Okay, now in the same way the state of stress at passive stage for plastic equilibrium we know what is this plastic equilibrium, right? So first let me write the definition of plastic equilibrium. I guess I had discussed about this plastic equilibrium, but I didn't wrote the definition of the plastic equilibrium, right? So let me write the definition of plastic equilibrium. So the plastic equilibrium is a stage when soil achieved its full resistance now further deformation on wall, it means further if we move the wall, may cause failure of soil mass. Or you can say the backfill. Okay. So this is the definition of this plastic equilibrium. We have discussed this plastic equilibrium elaborately for the cohesionless soil, right? But I guess I didn't wrote the definition of the plastic equilibrium. So I write this definition. Okay. So again, the state of stress at the passive stage for the plastic equilibrium is similar to the case of cohesionless soil. Okay. So suppose this is a soil element. Now this is the sigma V, the vertical stresses, and this is sigma H. And we know at the passive stage this sigma H means the horizontal pressure is nothing but the passive earth pressure. Okay. And we know at passive stage the major principal stress that is sigma 1 is the passive earth pressure. Okay. And the minor principal stress is sigma 3, which is sigma V. Okay. See, we have discussed this elaborately in the case of cohesionless soil, right? That why this sigma 1 is the PP, or why this sigma 3 is sigma V for this passive stage, and why the sigma 1 is sigma V for the active stage, right? We have discussed all these things elaborately when we analyze the cohesionless soil. Now that concept is similar for the case of cohesive soil also. Okay. That is why I am not discussing that elaborately, because we already know. And if you are facing any problem to understand this concept, please go through our previous lecture when we discussed the active stage and the passive stage elaborately. Okay. So this is it for today. In our next lecture, we will discuss about the analysis of active stage, and we will also calculate the active earth pressure using the Bell's analysis of lateral earth pressure theory for cohesive soil. Till then, stay safe and stay happy. Thank you.